Jack Howe Memorial Invitational doubles versus ModernBrain JD.
Are you ready?
1 second. I'm just gonna pay attention. It's just, yeah. Okay. Oh, let me just set a timer and then I'm good. All right. Cool. Go.
Progress of eventually federal elections can be processed in 523. Use ignore as by Congress cities adopted changes of legal process of the bill requires affordable housing activities demonstrate relevance activities in the U.S. much scalable solutions for cities global action federal partnership national commitment to SDGs provide credibility U.S. leadership emerging from hunger poverty corruption democracy climate biology opens up new partnership and the U.S. spearheads global efforts various space approaches key to data sharing and foreign aid group the 20 initiatives echo to the U.S. cities spearheading efforts programs for the global process UN echo and for American advancing actions advancing SDGs BLRs must be nationalized actions investing American value rights and rule of law and sustainability for global development in the U.S. must be able to domestic policies tackling inequality and the right to housing is the missing piece. Action supports research and analysis, building up the broader show 21. Housing is an encouraging SDGs, a support implementation of other strategies of climate, a starting point for action analysis through different indicators, the right to housing, contribute directly to also the energy platform from sustainability, driving HDI, building community as well as a social network and assets, jobs income, improve financial stability for sustainable cities, and it's key to every SDG. This is show 21. Insecure training limits assets, housing reduces vulnerability, concerns for health, climate is assets, inadequate housing, vulnerable disease, housing defendant against corona, the right of gender equality and participating in clean water, people to 2.2 billion without water, requires a solution to address physical context and energy poverty factors include unaffordable housing, building supports jobs, reaching climate goals, increasing labor infrastructure, meet demands of development, upgrade industry, and disaster affected building and interventions, contribute to restoration of environment, low carbon housing, build resilient cities, drivers, sustainable development, inequality, fair with imbalance in participation, access to housing are important for overall governance, and as you solve extinction by cascading failure outweighs as a stern at 20. Type of global climate SDGs and disaster, cyber data, climate, water crisis, refugees, and pandemics impacting well-being. Achieving SDGs are reduced access to risk targets remain unachieved. Develop chain reaction, high adapting means of something that a series of culminating mixing as opposed to one large event. And the United States ought to guarantee the right to housing. The plan solves in its key to convention to H.R. 22. States recognize the constitutional amendment, maximizing capacity power, introducing vows and ideals in the U.S. Gives full force and against the way economy, community policy to balance the need to construct housing. Congress must recognize the government plan decision made either by legislative action, finding the Congress of the right, remove various affordable housing and national interventions such as facilities, gross supply, and an economic is necessary and sufficient. This is equal 20. The right does not require housing requires homeless to be minimized subject to progressive realization obligations. Participant areas localities are bound and adequate governments intervene. And economic revolution was by HR while solving housing and housing costs and all there is all insufficient supply is necessary to take an economic approach and advantage to economy prices are still getting worse. This is Secretary 23. Housing dropping with affordability price mortgage rates for the other year lend at 7.0 numbers and soaring price relevant affordability plummeting lives deserving and need for the last photo mean we're very concerned about inflation handing out for the rate hikes I realize it has been numerous matter and high prices causes rate hikes locking slow growth in market 23. Home prices are complicating inflation, having an outweigh supply and up to having increased rate of federal officials saying shorter cost important prices are in home prices so the market bottom now I'll be bottom post and upside that we keep revenue structure between the as of every within a home value of 5 month low demand is still steadily people buying on the city we have super high demand and the plans keep removing zero which is while accounting for community interest 22. A record for a right officer can workers are going to have a vast on housing supply enables those familiar with needs to shape for that reduce backlash on the nation of anti-affordable housing measures that financial action for the strongest of the natural resources of the community organization have an empowerment for protections and restrictions causes trillions of unproductive spending is the biggest internally changing quality considered malls in Bowman 21. Sensible cities are especially positive that being positive regulation if these cities listen to roll total GPA 100% higher as by main houses guards. This doesn't happen where it develops at more homes that growth has accrued more landlords housing and non-income concerns within quality and the plan has wide-ranging benefits that impact every sector. This is Glazer 21. Remains going to have a wide-ranging benefits in anything else shaping higher economy restrictions, lower growth by 30% exacerbated fluctuation, construction, health damage, as well as became fixed in bulbs become more catastrophic. It stays 50,000 per person per 22. As a 80% government costs 50,000 per person device providing housing cost by more than half of this buildings after visit hospital visit 80% total cost 0 time and economic literature prevents China escalation but it's raised at the now supposed 23. China's literature global economy has stronger capabilities. China US and have a percent uses losing the closest partners on a 10-year game many deepening trade China the US partner company begins to help the US and superior must be to result this means demonstrating economic leadership dominance capital leadership also like as a citizen in 20 health climate cyber great powers that drive food power supply US is underprepared when it's in economy that can prevent these the government's goal for an economic disaster supply chain and scale production US is the most powerful economy safe from production China's a triggers ability to exploit dependence between wars and resilience the church of courage and fast growth is key to escalation and LA collapse of brand 22 China's made good settlements of China about its enemy and challenges order China is unlucky to be benign countries flash out violence she has granted vision covering Taiwan and take US have the affirmative defenses prevent China from weaponizing economic leverage nuclear war cause extinction this helmets in 23 nuclear weapons the smoke in the stratosphere no right for multiple years blocks of sunlight advances models will find catastrophic change for small and areas cause global famine the rise of catastrophic harm worldwide as a good impact I say that the LOs and impact with this array 20 nuclear war ecological collapse and technology development a new class separated AR which is input tech biotech giving means to create have nor held the same technically built fascist communists, democracies. We need a global cooperation commitment, global rules. We have escaped 100% war level order. Our kingdom must prosper there and history and policy level war. The bureaucracy will continue. It will collapse. It will collapse in 100% war. Far worse than you can imagine. Our speeches will annihilate rats will take over civilization. Growth is necessary. And every area competitiveness is common 20. Again, support of American competitiveness, the foundation for U.S. and military alliance, political influence. China wrote influence by trade institution initiatives to advance our foreign policy. America's democratic kingdom stability enables sanctions and rules that depend on policy investment. The U.S. should increase spending, prepare for crisis, ignoring the rest of key advantage and plan cause transition war prepared pre-exists badly 18. 16 cases when a rising power comes 12 and then catastrophic unipolarity put this on hold. Wars still occur, but not have the scope of nuclear extinction in interstate. Wars that disappeared, civil wars that declined by 30%. Humans became 20 times relentless, violent decline is explained by geopolitical faced with the U.S. military and by countries. Work with the liberal order movement from extinction always under any frank moral uncertainty in future generations of people. 15. Future people important extinction is the most important thing. Truth upon truth is not consequences of view. There's more than consequences of the view. Latter don't matter. The intelligent virtue of this conservative promoting good imply to a very strong reason to be sex centers more uncertainty agreement among immediately possible views. We have strong reasons, and that calculus is good enough. Consequences outweigh this bomb 18. Some catastrophes are more important than other humanity who goes involved. The loss would be all future generations. 500 trillion may have been under some risky guilt. Probably times magnitude. Society should try 500 trillion times harder to prevent a global catastrophe. As I should make a larger investment in GCR reduction at the expense of other objectives.
All right. Okay. 1 second before cross. All right. What does the plan do?
Okay, you started. So basically, what the plan does is we create an amendment, and the policies stem off of that. That's the
Okay. And then what does that entail as a result of that amendment?
We would basically try our best to reduce homelessness by removing zoning restrictions and
Okay, so
crisis.
I guess like your first piece of evidence seems to indicate that affordable housing is the problem. Does the plan provide affordable housing?
Wait, first card of the SDG.
The first card of the governance advantage says affordable housing activities demonstrate relevance of SDGs. Does the plan provide affordable housing?
Yes.
Okay. How does it provide that?
Again, so we create a constitutional amendment, policies stem off of that. We try our best to reduce homelessness.
Okay. And so that guarantees, okay. All right, I guess the SDG stuff, for the SDG solve extinction, I guess, what's the warrant for why any of these things cause extinction to begin with?
Like we can read terminals later, but like again, like these are the CERNF 20 card highlights that these are the top 5 global risks which are
Laundry list, got it.
disasters,
I guess econ.
Yeah.
So I suppose the question I want to ask is like, what is your scenario for like China war?
Our scenario,
Yes.
China strikes first, U.S. Can't respond.
Okay, so why does the uniqueness not overwhelm?
But like, what do you mean?
Well, you've read evidence that says it's razor thin now, so why does the uniqueness not overwhelm that?
Because if you
Thank you.
so if you look at our Affordability 23 card, it clearly highlights like China right now is ahead in leadership, and the only way to like prove that we can like compete with them is through results, which will like deter
Okay,
China.
so China's ahead. Got it. I guess this fast growth, like why is this necessarily saying U.S. growth? Like, what is the warrant for why the U.S. growth? It doesn't seem to say anything.
Wait, which the growth is?
The brand's evidence. It seems to be saying.
Evidence?
Yeah. It's talking about China's decline.
Yeah.
So how is the plan in the United States going to solve China decline?
Okay, so it's not really China decline. What it's saying is like fast growth for the U.S. specifically.
Well, it doesn't say that. Where does it say that?
The United States have to firm up defenses to prevent China from weaponizing their economic leverage.
Yeah, because a peaking China will fade away.
Mm-hmm.
So it's saying that it's because China is going to decline. So why is this saying U.S. economy key? It seems to conclude the opposite.
Okay, so what it's basically saying is like right now China will try to attack. Like this card, like this card says like China's economy will fade away. But what we're saying is they're going to attack before that happens. So the only way to deter it.
All right. I guess this framing, or actually no. I guess transition wars. What's the warrant for transition wars and why U.S. was actually that's time. Okay. The order is going to be 17 off, and then the case. No, it's going to be 4. Thanks. I'll send out the document. 1, 2, or actually, I'm gonna take prep. I'll start.
I was like, well, all in it.
Actually, I'm taking prep. Sorry. Doc prep, 17 seconds used, 343 remaining. I'll send a doc.
What's the order?
Order? I don't know. I'll figure it out.
Alright.
Give me a second. Sorry. Doubles versus Justin. 1MC check. Okay. Yeah, doc has been sent.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah, it probably hasn't gone through yet. Okay. Yeah. In. It's just gonna be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 off, and then 4 off, case 1 more. 5 total. Alright.
Wait, I didn't
I'll tell you.
Okay, let me download this.
Okay. Yeah. So 4 off, advantage 1, advantage 2, and then another off. I'll tell you when I'm ready. Let me tie my shoe real quick. Okay. Alright. It's loading, sorry. I'll step away. Sorry, my computer's being a little slow. Almost done. Just move this. And is everyone ready once I am? Okay, cool. And I don't know why I have the other card in red because it was from another round, but I'm gonna read it properly. Okay, 7 minutes, 4, case 1. Alright, here we go. Interpretation of the utmost of a right to housing is a negative right that confuse rights with entitlements. Rights exclude the plan's mechanism. Rights are natural laws consist of freedom from being harmed by the government. Entitlements established by governments include money, material items, services, and aid. Rights are freedoms from oppression to ethnicity, religion, and gender, not government handouts. Guarantee means to be responsible for. It does not require assured access. The pledge to be responsible for violation of the plan guarantees a positive entitlement to housing by providing affordable housing. That was cross-sex. Hold them to it. Vote negative on limits and ground. Allowing positive action expands the topic to infinite acts which construct specific types of homes in different locations, allowing the app to get offense from positive entitlement means cases they will solve all core topic decides because of the benefits that come with that, and precision resolution is the only basis for topicalities. It requires interpreting the topic and linked to debatability, and committing terms reasonability is arbitrary. If by judge convention RBI is bad, because the negative would always lose. For introducing T, and will answer it if they make it. The one AC's fear of death is primarily because they cannot control it. The desire for control throws away the key on the body, reduced to bare life, locked in the sarcophagus, so that life must be destroyed under the pretext of saving. In Bochart 76. Security is like a real life blackmail without providing an industrial business convert accident and a private operative every word is possessing you of your death. Beneath security might live that demand for death exhausted, reproduced machine no longer runs the risk of dying already dead. Secret of security surround you with a sarcophagus to prevent you from dying. Death miniaturized technical extension, biologization, technicization, obsessional neurosis, economy lives on suspension of death through renewing death stocks, conjuring by security blackmail, industrial prolongation of death life, nothing but defensive bookkeeping, locking every risk into a sarcophagus, and normalization is a priority. Now is key. Spent Lake and Hall in 918. Biden administration pressing ahead, strike a grand bargain includes normalization between Israel and Saudi. President committed to such a challenging goal. Broker relations, critical window to craft the deal before presidential campaign consumes agenda. Focus on Democrats who have condemned Saudi but whose support needed if agreement requires congressional approval. MBS seeking a NATO-style treaty. Advanced weapons, civilian nuclear program, significant concessions of the Palestinians. U.S.-Saudi relationship face resistance in Congress. Many critical of MBS. If clock runs out, may have to settle for a more limited deal. And increasing housing funding and supply stops buys political capital. The reason the administration hasn't been able to pass housing reform is because they did not get enough votes. Cohen 3-1. To make it under housing matter, we'll need to invest more political capital in pushing and funding some of the biggest pieces of our bills that Congress failed to pass. And normalization is key to check back against growing Chinese influence. Guy 3. China's rising power, our core reason for pursuing the Biden's approach focused on countering China, winding up U.S.'s most important enemy partners. China recently secured a deal between Saudi and Iran. Biden prioritizing Israel, Saudi as a way to reassert itself in any economic aspect. Alignment of Chinese and Saudi interests could affect the U.S. economy. China made inroads sought to buy oil with its own currency, degrade U.S. dollar. Biden could get wins in a region that hasn't given them any. And ceding regional leadership to China's sphere of influence breeds conflict, encourages further power plays, and guarantees war. Turns case, Brand 20.
As to why world more peril than safety, China's fears would be domains of authoritarianism run by autocratic regimes. If Beijing dominated their neighborhood, they would undermine democratic governments. The consequence would be to intensify the crisis of democracy. The U.S. would suffer economically, put it at a disadvantage. Should not concede the Chinese SOI, causing high-stakes crisis, nuclear war, SOI settlements ended in war. Ideas, fears are for peace, rest on assumptions, unexamined ideology, greatness, drive, great power. Rising states come to renegotiate once they have power to do so, conceding fear, give that challenger a better position, realize ambitions, China desires to push the U.S. beyond Japan, Taiwan, and the Philippines, and they have read a transition wars argument, which we're going to steal, because they just had straight turns their second advantage. And if you think that we're going to concede that argument, which means that it definitely causes transition wars if we're winning a China scenario, and the 50 states and all relevant subnational actors should declare housing as a right in their respective constitutions. States consistently grant their own constitutional right to housing, Missimo 21. Policies frustrate ability to less force to enforce rights. States can circumvent hurdles by declaring housing a right, and constitution requires applying IHRI as models. New strategy required ideally federal legislation, however historical practice suggests this. Improbable, more practical if state constitutions provide broader protections, easier to amend. States should decline in the same way FD would follow Canada by declaring housing a human right. Substance positive settlement include the negative right to shelter. Prohibits states from modifying affordable housing without ensuring adequate substitutions in the United States refers to the federal government. The federal government clearly identified in articles as the U.S., the USA, the 50 states. U.S. used consistently throughout Title 28 to refer to federal government in D.C. Title 28 status govern all federal courts, supreme law of the land, and SGDs. No private sector means no sovereignty. Plans to achieve SGDs require consorted integration of private sector partnerships, necessary innovation, infrastructure, financial backing, private sector backing, more impact on gender inequality, environmental sustainability. U.S. government and private sector recommit to SGDs, and SGDs solve nothing. Trade-offs and liberal actors are failing. Dylan 19. SGDs failing to achieve objectives due to lack of coordination. They're seen as aspirational governments label, but they do anyhow as being in the obligation. Hunger has risen for the third year in a row. Global carbon emissions hit an all-time high. There is a trade-off between SGDs. One goal is achieved to the detriment of other goals. One example is RLC rivers that be the lake have been diverted to irrigate, irrigation, health, food, and security as a side of aims to protect aquatic wildlife. And you should favor specific scenarios over laundry list impacts. You should not grant them new terminals because it causes a late-breaking debate, and they would always be ahead on answering new to our impact defense. So you should hold them to the lines of their evidence that they already have. Econ. Predictions fail. That's Samuelson 17. Economists forecast study converted from the Fed study compared indicators with the actual outcomes. There was widespread error. There are huge margins. Much forecasting is guesswork. The gap may be widening since 2008. And additionally, their argument about how the plan is necessary and that the growth is key to prevent is wrong because it's talking about Chinese growth, not U.S. growth. They could not give a reason in cross-checks that this card does not conclude. Their brand evidence clearly indicates that the problem is China declining, not the U.S. declining, which means that they do not have a word for why the U.S. decline is necessarily the problem here. The next is going to be Biden wins. Trump's advantage is fading away and is behind not just battleground states but nationwide. Code 23. Trump and Biden tied. Trump better in battleground states, allowing win nearly in 2020. Advantage faded. Midterm fair statements. Nationwide polls survey show Biden running well in battlegrounds. Results mirroring midterms. Democratic foundation of Trump's advantage fading. At the least, polls still mean Trump leads. 3 evidence that Trump diminished. Midterms polls, state polls. Democrats held ground in battlegrounds. Retained Senate nearly House. Biden matched in 2020 in states where Democrats better than average in battlegrounds. Lead 47, 43, 46, 44 among registered voters nationwide. And the right to housing is a cornerstone of conservative election messaging. Bipartisan homelessness party under growing conservative attack by its housing first. Become conservative appetite lawmaker thinks take North Clyde's province demand sobriety employment blame housing first for homelessness. No more housing first. Bar Cicero PragerU exploiting war over obscure social services. New ideological flashpoint called housing first. Marxists blame Trump. Pledge to place homeless people in tent cities, and Trump cuts off Ukraine. Putin is counting on it. That guarantees Russian victory. Putin counting on the defeat of Biden 2021 resulting curtailing U.S. aid to Ukraine boosts Russian war efforts. Top Republican candidates opposed U.S. aid. U.S. under Biden has been key to Ukrainian war efforts. Key to Ukrainian better than expected performance. Such support is not guaranteed if Trump wins. Citing U.S. and Euro officials, CNN reported Putin wants to drag the war until elections. If Trump wins, Russia could negotiate for a position of strength. U.S. support no longer assure the election. A key factor intelligence and diplomatic officials believe influence Putin's decisions. One official said, no doubt Putin is trying to hold out until election. Diplomat told CNN not trying to ride out the war is exactly Putin's plan. And actually, I'll just mark the card there. And where is the impact card? Why did I forget the impact card? I'm going to read the impact card and then I'm going to send it out after. The impact card is going to be alright, I'm not even going to try that. The impact card. Trump cuts, or wait, I already read. Other countries model this behavior escalates every conflict and causes extinction. 122. Succumbing to Putin's advantage is not the best way to minimize nuclear war. Bluff, feigning, willing to face costs far greater to intimidate adversaries, surrender, increase prospects of nuclear war going forward. Imagine what happened if Russians had responded to Putin's blunder by stopping Kremlin with proven method, getting his way demand surrender from Georgia, Moldova, Baltics, and further. With his success encouraged nuclear bullies, Israel, Iran, China, Taiwan, North Korea, SOCO, Japan giving in would provoke victims to Russia require nuclear weapons. SOCO, Taiwan, Japan, Iran, Saudi, UAE, Qatar, Egypt. Yeah, I'm just gonna send out that card right before cross, but you can mark that at Egypt.
Okay.
When I do. I'm gonna put it in red though, so it should be fine. 1 second. Where is this? Okay. 1 second.
Oh, why are you saying that you're ready for cross?
No, I'm just sending out the new doc because that was a fumble, but it's okay. Alright, yeah. Cool. Doc, I'm pressing send. Alright, yeah, doc sent. Let me set a timer. Yeah, I'll just get my timer on my computer.
Alright,
Give me a sec. Okay, it's sent. Okay, I am ready.
okay, so can you explain the K real quickly?
The K?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the 1AC is built around an extinction scenario to try or die fearmonger you and the judge into voting AF. And we think that that is bad and locks in biopolitical securitization of the body.
Okay, and then, like, is there an alt to it or what?
The alt is to reject the AF.
Okay, cool. And then, just give me a second. What's the status of the counterplan?
Status of the counterplan, the status quo is always a logical option.
Alright, cool. And then, I guess onto the normalization stuff. Can you explain why, like, increasing, like, can you explain why, like, normalization is key to, like, check back against Chinese influence?
Okay, so I think that our Geyer evidence explains that normalization is key because of the fact that Biden hasn't been getting any wins in this area. China is coming there and coming fast, and basically that this is part of a reassertion of the U.S. in the Middle East. Otherwise, it concedes it to China's sphere of influence, and that links to our brand's evidence.
Okay, and then so basically, can you explain like why normalization is a priority right now?
Well, normalization is a priority because Biden is pressing for it. He's trying to get Congress to agree to it right now. And I think that there's a critical window by, I believe it's like the end of the year or something. I can find the line, but Biden is pushing for this as part of his agenda. And in Congress, he needs approval for it because Mohammed bin Salman has asked for
Okay,
specific
and then
terms.
can you explain like what normalization is?
Normalization, okay. So normalization is, so like Israel and Saudi Arabia are not friends, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so normalization, Biden has told Saudi Arabia, look, if you start being on neutral terms with Israel, we might give you a deal and become official allies with you and give you like a security treaty.
Okay.
But to get those terms approved that the King of Saudi Arabia or Prince of Saudi Arabia is asking for, Congress needs to approve. So it's normalizing relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia.
Okay, and then so how does that exactly link to like having regional leadership?
Regional leadership, because it would concede China's sphere of influence in the area. China is encroaching on this area in the Middle East. And so we think that that means that it would encourage them to go to other places. Because sphere of influence concessions, as warranted by 1NC brands, cause countries to come back stronger. And that would lead to things that are going to take place.
Okay, and then, wait, so did you read the terminal to the elections view?
Yes.
And then, I guess, onto like the control K again, so like why exactly does like rejecting the app solve?
Because the AF has done something uniquely bad in this round, and this is an indict of the AF's methodology.
Okay, and then like what it's basically saying is like because people do have like a fear of death, right?
Well, we're saying that you're attempting to use blackmail. If you don't vote AF, everybody dies, and that rhetoric locks in biopolitical securitization, surveillance, a whole ton of bad things.
I'll take running pass right
Okay.
Alright, stop at 2:30. Send the dog now. Order is case.
One sec.
Oh wait, sorry. Yo, is that a sandwich?
Hmm?
Where'd you get it?
Not really sure.
Alright.
Okay, it's case on what? Order on case.
Order on case, just SDGs, SDGs, econ, and
Okay,
then.
so SGG's econ. Let me get my phone for here.
And then T,
Okay.
counterfund,
Okay.
the Saudi DA,
1 sec. And then
Saudi DA,
yes,
Ukraine DA,
yes.
and then K.
Cool. I will download the document. Okay, I just got it. I'm downloading. Okay, I'm gonna set a timer. I'll tell you when I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay. Go.
Alright. Alright. We'll kick out SDGs, we'll concede the fact that SDGs do nothing, and then next extend the econ advantage. Economic leadership is key to stop against economic leadership is key to stop against a rising trend in the discontinuity to all of our links. This means that we do create economic leadership in the next, and the next one will answer deed up here. First, the decoupling globally most recent evidence this economist 22. Reduce problems, separate link between growth and emissions led to the growth country 33 come to 1 billion, and emissions at peak, emissions which include imports have fallen by 15%. Countries become richer, expanded to service sector, which uses less energy, imports are greener, and China sector decarbonized. The task is to be acceleration possible so far, reducing energy per unit. Other big gains from making green energy links investment in renewables gains because reason to go fast. And there's also like literally no link. Our impact is about slower domestic growth, not our impact is about slower domestic growth, not like U.S. global recession. They get no spillover claim. And the next answering the China thing are our entire link isn't based on like a U.S. decline. It's based on we're basically saying our entire card isn't about like a China decline. We're basically just focusing on the fact that the U.S. needs to increase its economy right now. We're not relying on the decline of the U.S. And the next moving on to T. We mean right housing is a negative right. I can go buy a house right now, and the counter-interpretation I can defend a negative right. An economic right is insufficient. This is equal to 20 right. Does not require free housing, requires homelessness to be minimized. And then it's also best for fairness, which stops that. It's best for fairness. It's best for fairness stops the affluent linking to literally every single DA and cheating counterplans. And next is better for innovation. This topic completely sucks for innovation and everything. It's already predictable. And there's almost no plan to this topic at all. We need as much innovation as we can get as possible. And then also we don't get rid of DAs. All DAs still link. We're just able to. All the stealing, we just need to be able to like debate the process of it, and the next use and run abuse is impossible to justify things that happen outside of a specific route, and then in run they have tons of ground to go against it. That's moving on to the counter plan. First, from the counter plan, HR 20 proves that the AFRIM uses the barriers to housing and it uses the stay as a mean to enforce the right, and the next firm to build, and then third, the counter plan sounds like a slippery slope into over autonomous states, which risks a civil war 2.0, and then also AF keeps actions consistent, which was like shield from like election controversies. And the next interpretation process counterplans are a voter first features there are an infinite amount of processes. It's impossible to block out every single one, and then drop the debate for returns. And then next moving on to the DA. And then from the Saudi DA. First, there's literally no link. We don't increase the spending on housing at all. We just look like loads. We don't like really increase spending on housing. We just like lift restrictions to zoning. And the second half is a straighter economic might is key to extended deterrence, which solves for which like completely solves and like decline prevents like a military overmatch and sanctions, which is key to solve their impact. And then also units completely overwhelms like normalization is super popular and will pass right now. And then next moving on to the Ukraine DA. First, completely non-unique Ukraine is what's standing against Russia well with the supplies, and NATO is backing up Ukraine. And the second, the war is not solely dependent on the US and NATO allies and partners. All prove that the link is terribly for the Bergen 622. Ukraine has also proven quota of great confidence and training capabilities preparedness at 15 years from the Ukraine defense conduct group. Just have requirements for immediate find the longer $28 billion from allies and partners, not from the United States. Allies have trained 2 times the number of the United States has. And then there's also 0 chances of any Russian aggression. Russia's wreck. This is Russia like this is Korea 22. It is unlikely Russia would keep expanding Russia's economy under a massive cost to sustain the war if it's the whole case. Russia's exclusion from the economy would make it impossible for Russia to finance expansionist policies. And also like on the same day, case completely outweighs on time frame because again China is on the brink right now. This DA takes way too long because it first relies on Trump voting, which is in a year, and then like other countries following law, and then finally moving on to the K, and then finally moving on to the K. The K basically makes no sense. We aren't blackmailing the judges at all. The consequences of debate are completely hypothetical and is used for discussion and research. We're not telling you that and again it's not blackmail at all because like again judges can't change a policy decision within the world right now. And then finally we'll put a link to it here. We decrease surveillance of people, but police right now can see like homeless people and can criminalize them, but we destroy that by giving them the right to housing, which allows them to get rid of the surveillance.
Okay, yeah, I have 3 minutes and 43 seconds of prep, which I will use. I guess the question I want to ask is, the only reason to drop me was the
process counterplans.
Process counterplans. What was the warrant for process counterplans?
There's like an infinite amount of processes, and it's impossible to like prepare for them, and then drop the debater for 2 minutes.
Okay. What was the first argument on states?
On states, just give me a second. It was permitted counterplan. One is HLR, like proves like it literally says that we use the state as a mean to enforce the right.
Wait, which evidence?
HLR 22.
Where is that?
It's like it's in the plan part.
Okay.
You see?
Okay. Alright, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to do this shit. Okay. Order is going to be the elections decide, the Saudi normalization decide, the 50 states counter plan, and then the case. What? Yes. The order will be my opponent's case and then my own. No, it will be the elections disadvantage,
the normalization disadvantage, the 50 states counterplan, and then second advantage. Okay, is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We will concede there is no impact to Ukraine, which means they have no offense and there is nothing to vote off of elections this ad. Normalization. We're going for Saudi normalization. It was very badly mishandled. This is demonstrated by the fact that they have not read a single card on it, which means that you should be, at the top level, be very skeptical of all of their arguments here. But we're going for our impact, which is spheres of influence. China's sphere of influence outweighs on probability because we've read evidence that indicates that China is interested in the Middle East now, and that the United States has been unable to reassert itself there, which means that it is try or die for normalization. They have conceded that normalization is key to prevent Chinese influence in the area, which means that if you think that the plan stops normalization or that there is a risk that they do, then you should vote negative here. They say that there is no link because there is no spending. Yes, spending. Prospect said that they increase the supply, and that means that they definitely do. And Biden would still need to push for housing legislation, which is our link evidence. It says that the reason that Biden has been unable to pass increasing housing bills is because Biden has been unable to do this because Congress has not approved them. They did not get enough votes, which means that Biden would definitely have to use substantial amounts of political capital in order to accomplish this. They say that they only lift this. That is not how this works. Again, that was above the econ key to deterrence. We will win defense in their econ scenario, especially since they have dropped the key warrant on that, which means that, and on the uniqueness of realms. LOL, no, they have no card for this that says that they saw that it's so popular. You should prefer carded evidence, which specifically says that Biden will need to overcome the struggles in Congress right now, which are clearly, our evidence clearly explains that Biden is facing difficulty from Democrats who condemn Saudi Arabia, which means that he will definitely need to lobby for this. The plan disrupts that because of our link evidence, which they have not engaged with the warrant of, which is the key warrant that shapes their ballot, is that Biden has been unable to pass housing reform bills because they did not get enough votes. That means that we definitely have won a link here, and absent offense on this page, then you should default to this because of the fact that they do not have a reason offensively why the dissent is wrong, and we're going to win at very large risk of the counterplan. 50 states. The counterplan solves 100% of the affirmative. It does the plan through the states. All of their arguments are incoherent, so I will answer them here. On perm, do the counterplan? No. You say that it uses states and talk about a 1AC card. You can read their card. It's talking about states in context of states as countries, not states as the 50 states. They have conceded our competition argument, which is that the United States refers to the federal government, which means that at minimum, the plan specifically that Justin has presented to you in this round means that it must go through the federal government. Absent competition evidence, that means that you default to the fact that this counterplan competes. On the perm do both argument? No, it links in that benefit because Biden would be blamed because it would have to go through Congress. This is dropped, which means that it obviously doesn't have, they do not get perm do both. And that means that if you think we want to link to our disad through Biden, that means it cannot shield because they did not make a warrant for it. This deficit, this sort of disad to the states counterplan about overly autonomous the states and civil wars has no card and no warrant. This is not an argument saying that states will get too much power. How do you know states don't have power now? We did not read federalism and they do not have evidence that says this. So it just means that you should default to it. But we're going to answer the process counterplan's bad stuff. The top level issue for this is that it is not necessarily a process counterplan. This is an agent counterplan, which means that we do not have a different process. Process counterplans additionally is arbitrariness. Opposite explaining what a process counterplan is. Any counterplan can be a process counterplan because every counterplan has a process. Advantage counterplans do something different from the affirmative. Uniqueness counterplans also do. An agent counterplans change the agent but do the same action. What is a process counterplan? If you cannot answer that question, you cannot vote on this argument. But independently, I'll treat this like it was 50 state fiat. We get 50 state fiat. One is testing. It forces the act to have a federal government key warrant, which they should, and they are able to. Every affirmative on this topic has a federalism key warrant and a federal government key warrant, except it seems this one in this round. Two is that it is core neg ground on this topic because with many app grounds and minimal neg ground because of the fact that we need the state's counterplan because of the fact that it is part of negative flexibility and that we cannot read just disads. And three is arbitrariness. We should get counterplans that are competitive. Their theory isn't rooted in the topic, just that the counterplan is unfair, which incentivizes this theory over substance, turning their education and fairness offense. Next, we will use reasonability. You should weigh the amount of hard costs in this round against it. That was on T. He didn't call it reasonability, but you should still treat it as that. And finally, reject the argument, not the team. Use reasonability and theory causes substance crowd-off, and intervention is inevitable because arguments require evaluation, which means that competing interprets are best because of the fact that they're not competing. So reasonability is best because it's key to debating the topic. But if you think that Justin is winning, that this counterplan is unfair, then you should kick the counterplan if it's condo. Additionally, if you think they're winning a links to that benefit or that perm shields, you can also kick the counterplan because it is condo. Advantage 2. Advantage 2, the reason that they don't access it is because they have dropped the predictions fail. They have answered DDEV, which was not read, so I'm really not sure what was going on there, especially since it wasn't even on the marked doc. But I'm going to extend predictions fail here as terminal defense to their scenario. The predictions fail argument from Samuelson 17 says that economists cannot forecast, and that a scholarly study from the Federal Reserve has proven that economists are unable to predict slow growth or changes in growth, which means this is terminal defense to Justin's scenario because you do not have a scenario for why you would vote affirmative, which means that they do not access it independently. They have dropped that their link is about that. Their evidence, their brand's evidence from the 1AC is about China decline, not the U.S. decline. They do not have a warrant for why the U.S. is necessary, which means our scenario is a much more likely route to China, which means that our scenario is a much larger internal link to China war in the first place. I'm going to do some bottom level weighing for how you should evaluate the round. It's very simple. They have no offense against our disadvantage, which means that any risk that we're winning a link to our disad, a link to like our disad means that you should vote negative because the counterplan is able to solve the affirmative, and so that means that there is really nothing that you should be comparing against this. They have no scenario, they have nothing. So ultimately, we also access time frame because China is able to go in quickly. This is demonstrated by their plans to do so. In the Middle East, only Saudi normalization can prevent our impact, and probability that was all above outweighs zero risk of a case. Done.
Alright.
How much prep you got?
I think one.
Okay.
Starting right now.
Alright, but what's the order?
Order is case, counterplan DA.
Okay. Let me get my papers in order. Okay, so it's econ, and then the counterplan and the disadvantage. Okay,
Yeah.
let me just case counterplan disad. Okay, let me set the timer.
Sorry, what's the order?
Case, counterplan DA.
Okay, go.
I'm ready.
Alright, cool. Extend economic leadership will basically extend the fact that our case doesn't rely on U.S. decline at all. What we're saying here is that China will decline soon, which means China is forced to attack. Our evidence isn't about the U.S. decline, but specifically how a U.S. slow growth is specifically bad, which we solve by creating this economic leadership. Which we solve through the right to housing, which basically gets rid of these zoning restrictions and allows for trillions in spendings. We prove through results that economic leadership will happen, which means that we do solve for China. Which basically means that we do solve for China intact, and then like the economist thing doesn't matter right now because our main internal link is about specifically zoning restrictions and how affordability is terrible right now, which we all solve for. We create like circulation within the economy right now because now people get these houses and are able to buy and spend more money instead of focusing on trying to save up for a house. And not only that, but we get rid of again zoning restrictions, extend Bowman 21 specifically states how we create trillions in spending in the next. Moving on to the counterplan. Moving on to the counterplan. We'll basically moving on to the counterplan. We'll basically extend our offense here that basically says that we stop a slippery slope policy which prevents a Civil War 2.0. Specifically using the counterplan through the states is terrible because it's specifically terrible because again it's specifically terrible because again Democrats and Republicans disagree on it, and like it's not consistent at all because some states will like fully enforce it and try their best to, and some states will try to be more relaxed on and like not enforce it as much because they disagree with the policy themselves. And then you also extend the fact that because we keep it inconsistent, we stop like elections issues. We basically stop elections issues. We basically stop election issues for like Democrats and like Republicans. For like Democrats and Republicans. But the main thing here is the main thing here is that the U.S. government specifically is key to again stop to make it to keep it consistent, and then people will actually follow it, and it will be more enforced because instead because again under the counterplans world it'll be like slightly enforced under like slightly enforced under Republican states, like fully enforced under Democratic states, and then next moving on to the DA. We'll basically we'll extend the no link here. Not at all do we actually increase the amount of funding for the government. Instead, we're making these policies which we basically make these policies that allow for more spending and also remove zoning restrictions. They like never highlight in our specific evidence where we says like we actually spend money. And either way, it doesn't matter because but like either way, it doesn't matter in the end result because we create trillions in spending. This means this basically proves that there's like no link at all to the D. There's no link at all to the D because our case doesn't because our case doesn't like, actually increase spending again. Our doesn't actually increase spending again. Our main internal link is basically just like creating these policy changes. So then you'll basically buy the fact that quick link here under the counterplans world. Under the counterplans world, you'll buy our offense again. You'll buy our offense about how like we keep the policy specifically consistent, and then if you pick the counterplan and go for the DA, you'll buy our risk of offense on economic leadership over the no links.
Good debate, bro.
Good debate.
Let's go outside. Let's go outside. We should find a room.
I wore my speak now one yesterday, and like nobody acknowledged it, and I was like, maybe I just will open it. No, I'm so jealous. It's really my favorite thing I own, and I feel very teacher core. I love it. It's first of all, that's actually wrong. I was like, we're kind of matching. I know, I can't. Yeah, but I ever wondered. It's like, yeah, it's hot outside.
Sorry, I left my water bottle here. Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
Well, wait, is it RFD coming out right now? Is that why?
We're waiting for the decision.
Are you debating here?
Yeah.
Okay. William won.
Whoa, what?
So if I win this, it's a walkover, and I have a bid round.
Whoa.
This is a big deal.
Who won?
William, he just beat the top seed, or second seed.
You did? Who?
Penelope.
Bro, she
Hey guys, be nice. Don't insult people.
No, I know, but like, that's sick,
That's
dude.
Oh,
that's
William's
amazing.
fire.
William's a
Jeez.
ghost.
Okay, that's good.
Wait, do you get a ghost bid then?
No, I mean I walk him over and then I have the bid round tomorrow.
Oh, I see.
But that's dependent
Oh
on
yeah,
this
it's double
round.
locked this right now.
Yeah, I don't want to make assumptions about this round though. Oh, I was 9th seed. That's cool.
But they have that.
Yeah,
Wait, really? Yeah.
yeah. On the bracket, Alex is 10th. Haha, let's go. Number one. It's a new tradition.
Oh, wait. Am I hitting someone?
No, you're hitting Alex.
Oh, wait. Oh.
Dum dum.
That's so exciting.
Why do they organize the bracket that way?
Because high low. I don't know why.
They organize this, the teams don't clash.
Well, it makes sense they have to. Cause like we had a bunch of people that broke.
I think you'd all be at least to the best of their ability set, but that would be
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll leave. I can't. You can come in.
Okay then.
Oh, speaker awards are out, by the way.
Oh.
I was top speaker. I'm 14th. That's cool.
That's good.
And Alex is 17th. Nice. Oh wow, my speaks are good.
Wait, were they at? Results?
Yeah.
Fuck, man, I tanked. Andrew Russell, number 9.
Wait, what? I'm 9.
Oh,
You mean speaker?
I mean, Speaker Awards.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Aiden Kim is debating Alex next round on a 3, or he just 3-0'd. Kyson. The rematch of the century.
Wait. AKB Tyson.
Yeah, on a 3-0.
That's right.
Cactus Man versus Alex.
I'm gonna message Tyson.
Yeah. I mean, he made elims, so it's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. I like Kyson.
I guess. I'm gonna just phone
You can come in.
Wait, Sterling, you're gonna hit Ivan quarters, right? If you
I think I want to wait on this RFD.
Yeah, but like if you win this one.
Yeah.
Then welcome.
Pretty cool for at least my debater here.
Who are you? Are you debating next round?
Yeah.
You're with Saltos AK.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, just meet you. Sorry, I was just. I don't know, that seems. May I just pull up my notepad? Okay, I'm ready.
congratulations to both of you for getting to the block finals. Really cool. The decision was a 2-1 for the negative. I can start because I was one who voted F. I think when I was kind of coming out of the round, I was like, okay, I vibe with the next saying, but then I went through my flow, and it seems like there's, it's on the econ argument, especially for like China's sphere of influence. So we've got China's sphere of influence with normalization dissent, and that like is saying we whatever. But then the app is saying economic leadership is key. I have the economic leadership is key argument flowed through each of the speeches. And there's an argument at the end where, like that continues to be extended, that economic leadership solves for China attack. To me, I think the normalization disad, one, I wish it was explained more, because like I've heard this disad before, and I do not know what normalization in this context is, or how it like links back to like Saudi Arabia. I just feel like it just becomes like having funding makes Biden's political capital that, and that kind of like, but it seems like in the 2NR it goes for, you go for like, being skeptical of the arguments because of the sphere of influence, try or die, but I don't buy the try or die argument because of, also because, this was, okay, also because like when I'm looking at like a try or die argument and it's two different arguments saying like, we need to stop China, the normalization disad has evidence from 2020. The AF argument about the brink argument is from this year, and I kind of like don't want to buy a try or die argument because of that. On the counter plan, I'll be so real. I buy the perm. It's fair. I think like when I've heard the 50 states counter plan, I was like, I really hope someone says like the 50 states, like we need USFG to create the enforcement because states have different priorities. And it's like you can mention like Roe v. Wade, where it's like when it was no longer a federal thing, states could kind of do whatever they wanted, and then it doesn't mean that like there are more conservative states who probably are like, we don't want to prioritize on house people, so they could make like the most bare minimum public housing. And so I think, and also because it says like, it's, I don't know, I just think there's an argument about like, I like the argument about how the counter plan, you can't fully enforce it happens. So I just think at the end, I'm kind of like, yeah, sure. It also, and I also think it would have been probably better, I think, for the neg, if you had collapsed to either the disad, like spend more time, or just like talking about the counter plan or the disad, because it kind of, okay, because at one point you had said like the disad, well, if you don't buy the counter plan, then you can do this, and I was like, I mean, you could just be like, vote on the counter plan, and like, here's the way that the counter plan solves the app. But it kind of just was like, it solves the app because states do it. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't get more than just it's the states, so that's where I'm
I can go next. I think the counter plan pretty much solves almost all of the app and avoids the risk of a link to the net benefit. I think you're just not in a great place after the 1AR, and so it becomes really difficult to give this to her. I think where I differ from Katie is that I just didn't really get the, I think that like this state's uniformity solvency deficit is just too new in the 2AR. Didn't really get that in the 1AR, or at least my understanding of it is a little bit different. Yeah, and then in terms of the permutation, I did not get the permutation in the 2AR. I also just, don't really think that so I don't really think about that at all, but I also think that it doesn't matter if you don't have solvency deficit, and I don't think that you've won the permutation shows the link, so that's not really in consideration for me. The disad, I think that I'm not compelled by the no have not answered the two NR's arguments about why it's not necessarily about funding, but about political capital. That was like enough for me, yeah, to go negative.
Yeah, very similar. I do think that, the sphere of influence stuff needs to be kind of just explained a little bit more, but I also just kind of feel like the econ leadership stuff, like I don't even necessarily kind of fully understand what that means in the context of like this round. I think that like the way I understand the negatives argument on the normalization, is similar, like that it's about political capital more so than funding. And even like with that, like for me, I don't know, like I know it's in the tag, and then I feel like I also kind of floated, but I didn't flow like super well in this part. But I feel like in the 2NR you were also like specifying like that it's like the political capital is like connected to housing, like specifically like housing policy. And so I don't feel like the affirmative is ever really like addressing that part of it. They're just kind of, making this claim that like Biden will become popular because he will engage in this policy that then improves the economy, and then that'll allow him to get things passed. But the way I just I guess understood what the negative is saying is that like they're not making arguments about like Biden's not a good president, so it will not get passed. They're just saying like because of the current political landscape, it's not going to get passed. Biden is already in a bad place when it comes to political capital, and housing policy in particular will only make it worse. But having said that, I don't think it's, maybe the econ leadership stuff does like address some of that, but I just kind of didn't get an explanation beyond it just kind of being extended for me, and I felt like, I think that the negative explained like the Saudi-Israel relation stuff and kind of like how that creates like some spillover. It's not super in detail, but I feel like it's just believable enough for me to go with it.
Yeah, and I'll just add that I think that this 2NR just like did not have a strategy, and I think that was the problem. And I get it, like it's hard, like you're gonna really have a SWOT after the 1AR, so it's like really like, yeah, I mean, like before the 2NR you just need to look at the whole debate and think about like what is the threat, and how can I win the debate, because really the issue here is that they have a counter plan that solves the entire case.
Can I also add sorry.
No,
Can I just add one thing as well? So I also saw myself voting neg, but I also kind of wanted to air out more because I think you were just kind of rude in this round, and felt kind of disrespectful to your opponent, and I kind of felt disrespected at times, just because it was kind of I don't know, I just a lot of it just felt I don't know, just not taking prep time and being okay, I don't want to sound like a parent judge, because I feel like people are gonna think that, but I think we're past the point of teenagers cursing in the round to be let's do it. I kind of was can we just do the debate and be nice to each other? And I just kind of felt I don't know, I just kind of had been feeling you didn't have to, it just feels like you're not caring about this or what I'm saying, but that's cool.
Oh no, I heard what you're saying.
Okay.
I was just writing it down. I'm sorry, I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. I consider him friends.
Okay, I just
so,
didn't know that, and I didn't want to I assumed you guys were friends, but I just kind of felt awkward, because I don't know you guys,
sorry.
I don't know anyone.
Okay, I'll try to be more respectful in the future. I didn't mean to be insulting at all.
It just
My
was
bad.
a little.
Sorry, Justin.
It's fine.
All right, thank you. I don't have any questions beyond that.